Hey everyone, this is Weston Summers, and in this video I'd like to show you how to sharpen your carving knife so you can get the best edge to do the best carving. This is fine if you're doing bushcraft or a pocket knife, it all applies the same, but a carving knife has to be exceptionally sharp to make a good clean cut. So, first off, these are the supplies. You'll need your carving knife. I recommend a file. This is just a mill file. I have a 25 micron diamond plate, just a diamond card here. This is to help finish it off. I have a Carbide Sharpener. This is just a pocket sharpener. And I recommend a hone with leather. This can be a belt or anything. This is just a piece of leather glued to a piece of wood, rough side up. And if your leather is really dry, I recommend squirting it down with some Pam or olive spray or something like that to keep it where the grain doesn't get too rough and it makes a mess. Alright, last thing you'll need, a sheet of paper to test your sharpness. So, we're going to take this knife here without dropping our file, and we are going to dull her up. So I'm just going to run her across the file here. So now our knife is dull. Definitely not going to cut much. So our knife is dull. Alright, so first off, if your knife is not straight, this one's pretty straight, I recommend using the file. To do that, you only want to make forward strokes on the file to where it cuts. You want to get on a stationary piece. You want to start at the back here and go from the heel up to the toe, just to make sure there aren't any huge burrs rolled over. I'm using very light strokes, and you can already see it shined up that edge just with that little bit of pressure. On this side, a lot of times you have to be a little awkward because I'm right-handed. I try and brace the bottom on something, try and match the same angle, and we're just making sure there's no burrs on the knife. If you need to refile your profile or go over your tip, you can do your tip like this. Make sure you clean your file out, and you can reprofile the tip. Alright, once you're done with your file, set her down. We're going to move over to our Carbide Sharpener, and I'm going to face you guys a little more down here. On the Carbide Sharpener, the most important thing to do is to maintain the correct angle. So when you maintain your angle, you don't want to be angled out like this. You want to be angled straight under, so that when you pull through, it reprofiles your blade. So I'm right-handed here, so I'm going to come straight down. You want to get your knife under it. You want to start as far up as you can to where it bottoms out, and you want to give it a nice firm once through. Now you can see it already cut some off of the blade right there, so keep it clean, and we're going to use just firm pressure, and we're going to go straight down, keeping as still as we can. If you had the sharpener mounted to a bench or anything, that's fine. Alright, listening, it seems like it already cut the burr off. So, number one, before we go any farther, we just want to take the piece of wood, and we just want to run the knife over the piece of wood like this a couple times. What that does is if there was a burr on the blade, it would roll the burr off the top of the blade. So, let's give her a few more strokes here, and we're going to test our edge. Straight through. I'm gently lowering the pressure. There we go. These are little fine blades. Alright, I don't hear any burrs now. It's going through very smooth. Alright, and I'm going to just test it on a piece of hair on my hand here. Alright, it's not shaving sharp by any stretch. So I'm just going to give it a couple more touches. Just gently, lightly, maintaining the perfect angle. And we're going to say that we're done. Now, you should be able to feel a little fine edge. We got to get rid of that and polish it off. So, coming to my diamond blade, you can lay this down on something. This is just not a back and forth option. I like to either go one direction. So I'm actually going to pull away from myself here. So I'm just going to push it away, planting it level and finding the edge that cuts into the blade the most, and gently drag it across it. You can hear it doesn't sound very smooth. So I'm just going to do it by hand here. This isn't exact science. Sounds rough. Sounds rough. I'm just keeping the blade from touching the edge. Let's test her. Not close, but we're getting there. You can see the edge starting to shine. I'm lowering my pressure. You can hear it's getting much quieter. This is just to make sure we don't have any burrs. Alright, she's looking really shiny now. Starting to catch just a hair. So now we're going to go move to the hone. Now the hone, if you have a belt, it's going to be different. This one's stiff, So I'm going to take the hone and I'm going to lay the blade facing away from me, but grabbing it like this so that when I get to the end, I can roll and come back. So I'm keeping the blade perfectly flat. I'm going to put a decent amount of downward pressure because we're wanting to take all those little crumpled edges and push them out perfectly straight. So here we go. I have the knife backwards. And the amount of strokes, I mean, some people have a certain amount of strokes they count. Some people just go till it's sharp. Some people go till they know it by feel. A lot of times you can start to feel it getting slick. You can feel this one starting to get slick. So keep that blade flat to the leather. You can see she's nice and shiny. And now let's test her. Alright, let's shave off a little hair here for the camera. We won't take off too much. So we've got her shaving sharp, and let's test her out on a sheet of paper here. So, just no pressure. That's how you get her sharp. Now, if you wanted to, if you felt a burr or anything, you could always go back and hone this a little more. Now, this time you would want to decrease your pressure, and a lot of times you can drag across the hone to make sure the tip gets a little bit of extra pressure at the very end. So we'll do that just for a second. We'll see if we can get the tip to shave. Going more of an X pattern. Be careful not to cut into your hand. And then a few last back and forths with light pressure. Not a perfect razor, but it'll do. Much sharper, just a little bit of honing. Now I'm just going to try and use just the tip and cut through the center here. Your tip is a lot of the most used point, so you want to make sure you spend a little extra time on that. And that is just a quick, I don't know, 5 or 6 minute video on how to get your carving knives or any other knife as sharp as you can and make a good edge. Now this is a very fine edge. If you were to whack into anything, this edge would not do you any good. So here's the good news. Alright, by hitting it on the file to begin with, we dulled it up a lot. But now that it's sharp, if you keep your hone out or your diamond file with you and you carve for 30 or 40 minutes and then you need to touch your knife up, just hit it a few strokes on your hone if you keep it oiled nicely, and it'll bring it right back. So, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Y'all have a great day. Weston out.